Thank you very much for all your time and for joining this meeting. I hope it's helpful and useful. And I'm going through the process now, and then we can have, I'm going to do it like in 10 minutes, and then we have time for all the questions to be answered, if that's okay. So basically, the first step that we need to do in case you want to register to take part in the study is to have the link, which is, let me just, okay. I think you can see my screen now, right? So you need to follow that link for registration of HIPPO, which will land into this page. And then first you need to check in this link here if you already have a local lead in place. Because if there is a local lead in place, what you need to do is contact them, and so you can send them an email. You have the email from them here to see if you can be a collaborator in the study. So you search here for the name of the hospital. Let's say the one here in Birmingham, the Queen Elizabeth. So this one already has a hospital lead, so you should contact with him. But if your hospital is not in this table, then you can definitely register for it. So you need to answer yes to the first question, and then you need to fill all your details in here. So here is your first name, then here would be your last name, then here would be your email address, and then your level of training. Okay, oh, it says that I don't have, yeah, okay, right. And then you need to register as a hospital lead, and then you would enter your hospital name. This field here, in case you don't find your hospital in this list, you just need to type other hospital, select this option, and then fill these fields that come up with the country, the city, and the hospital name. And then the last question is, how many surgeries are you expected to include in the study? And then you press submit, and then that's it, and we received your record. So the next step is please give us a few days to get back to you from this form, and you should receive an email like this one confirming that you are registered as a local lead in your center. And then we also provide you the link to the protocol of the study that is publicly available in our website. So after this step, you should receive another 2 emails that will give you the chance to register your teams. But maybe I can stop here at this stage to ask you if there are any questions that I can answer. If anyone has some questions, if you want to like raise your hand in the Zoom, I'm happy to answer if something was not clear.
From Ghana, Stephen from Ghana, I've got a question.
Yes.
So you put in and register the hospital, but then they're asking you whether, I think one of, if I can open my phone, I think I sent it to you. And then he was asking whether you should register as a hub lead or as a data. So for example, I have it here. He said, what role would you like to have in the HIPPO? And there you have data collector and then hospital leads.
Yes.
So if you select that, you're going to collect the data, or you are the hospital lead. And the hospital is a big hospital, for example, a big teaching hospital where you have various teams operating inguinal hernia. In that case, what do you do?
So if you want to be the lead in that hospital, you definitely need to choose the hospital local lead option. However, if you think you will not be able to be on that role, then you should register yourself as a data collector, and should try to identify within your colleagues and within your any consultant that would like to be the hospital lead.
So it means they should also register as hospital leads for the same hospital.
Now, we can only have one hospital lead per hospital. So, so if
yes,
you,
go ahead.
If you want to be a hospital lead from that hospital, you need to select the hospital lead option. If you only want to be a collaborator and a data collector, then you select the data collector option.
Okay, clear. So it means if you are registering other surgeons who are in different teams, then they will be something like data collector and collaborator. Thank you.
Exactly.
It's clear now. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Bisher, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing.
Hi, Dr. Maria.
Sorry.
Yeah, you've pronounced right. I have a question about the last question in the form, which states that the approximately elective surgeries. So we don't know how many surgeries we will have next year, as we don't have scheduled surgeries. So we've put an estimate. Yep.
Yeah, no problem. In that case, if you can, based on the number of elective inguinal hernia surgeries that were done in the previous year, like in 1 month, or if you have absolutely no idea and you do not expect to operate many patients electively, you can just put like 5 or 10, no problem. This is just for us to have an idea of how many patients we expect to be included in the study as elective procedures, but we will not use this data to restrict anything. So it's a roughly estimate.
I've got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. So I'll continue just the process. The second stage might be a bit more complex. So then after that, you should expect 2 emails from our team. So you should expect an email like this, where you have a RedCap account and you need to set up a password. So, and then when you click this link here, then it goes to this page, and then you need to create a password for your account. So, and then you click submit, and this is your RedCap account. So in your RedCap account, once you enter, you need to go here into My Projects, and then you have access to HIPPO team registration process. And this is where you are going to register your team. We also have, besides this email, we also are sending an email explaining all the steps with a YouTube video on how to register the team. So basically, you need to click on this project and you go here to add and edit records. And then you add a new record. Then you select your hospital. Let's say I'm going to put so, and in this list, your hospital should be showing up already, because even if your hospital wasn't showing up in the other survey, we already added to this form. Then we ask you to please classify if your hospital is a referral hospital or non-referral, and in case if it's non-referral, if it's considered district or rural hospital. And then this step, one important thing to highlight is you do not need to have the local study approval in place, but you need to have started this process. So in case you do not have the approval yet, but you've already asked for it, then the option that you need to select in this field is, I have applied for the necessary local study approvals and expect these to be approved before data lock. Then
Maria, let me ask a question.
Yes.
So, for example, in Ghana, we
Yes.
are getting one ethical approval for all the hospitals.
Okay.
So I think it does not necessarily in such a situation where you have one ethical clearance nationwide. In that case, you have to upload the one, or you say, yes, we have local ethical clearance.
Yes. So in that case, you select the option that says, I have applied for the necessary local study approvals and these have been successfully confirmed. So this last option is for the ones that already have the study approval in place. So for instance, in Ghana, one thing that's important is that when we have the national approval, for all hospital leads to know that there's a national approval in place. So they can select this option. So then,
Thank you.
No worries. After that, you need to, again, fill your details about you as a hospital lead. So your first name, your last name here. And then we ask you, and this is because of the authorship for the papers in the future, the ORCID ID. So if you do not have one, you can copy this link here to know where you can get one. And this will land in this page. And in this page, you need to register. You need to do the step 1 here. So register now. And then you just need to fill this to create an ORCID ID. Probably if you participated in previous COVID search studies, you probably already have an ORCID ID in the past because we were asking for it in the previous studies. But you have the whole process of this in the YouTube video. And then you select which periods of data collection you want to collect data. So you can choose how many periods you want. You can choose to only cover one period, or you can choose to cover like 3 periods or the 4 periods. It doesn't matter. So let's say if your team will collect data in period 1 and period 2, then you can have 2 different teams. Like this is very helpful for the big hospitals that probably will like to have many people involved. And this is a chance for them to have as many people interested in taking part as possible. So then in period 1, you select how data collectors and how many collaborators you want to be in your team. So let's say 5, and then you need to fill all the details for them. So first name, last name, ORCID ID, and email are the 4 informations that you need from your data collectors to be able to fill this form. And you need to fill this for each collaborator. So each collaborator needs to register in the ORCID ID. That's very important. And then in the end, you just press complete here, and then you save and exit form. And that's it. And then we issue all the logins necessary for the data collection. So are there any questions? I think this part is a bit more complex, probably. Dr. Bisher?
Yes, hi. If I want to get back to the form to add more period, is it adjustable or not? Thank you.
Yes. Yes, you can do it. So in that case, what I ask you to do is if you go to the record status, like let's say that this form is not completed, right? But so if I leave the page, if I will save it as incomplete, save and exit form, and it will save it for me.
Okay.
And then when you go to the record status dashboard, you have here, this one was the one that I was doing. So you can edit all the fields again. So there's no problem.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Basam Fami? I hope I said this correctly. I'm sorry if I haven't.
Yeah, you're. It's okay. So I have a question about the consents that I get from my hospital. To whom should I like upload them? I mean, I have the formal consents with me. I
Approval.
have gone through. Yeah, I
Okay.
have gone through the ethical committee process. I'm nearly done.
Okay.
So is
Brilliant.
there any place or like website I should apply these forms to? I've read it in the protocol, but I haven't gone to my regional lead. So
Okay, so in that case, what is needed is for it to be sent to your national lead. In case there is no national lead in your country, you can send to our Gmail account. I can share my screen where you have that email. Yeah, you can send to this email here.
I'm sorry, it's not clear.
You can send to this email, please. Can you see this email?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Is not working?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
brilliant.
Yeah,
Sorry.
brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Elizabeth Wallner.
Hi, Maria. Maria, I have a question. Normally, Professor Aigner, he registered everything already, and normally I'm the study coordinator, and Gabriele, she's my colleague. Sometimes our doctors, they need help when they put in data collection. Does he need to give us a collaborator that we get an access?
Yes. So
for the RedCap?
Yes. So we will have a RedCap project for data collection, and everyone, both hospital leads and collaborators, will have access to the project, so the data can be entered. We will do that in January.
Okay, so he should put our names down as well as a collaborator, and then we get the access we need.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Dr. Lawani?
Thank you very much, Maria. We start to disseminate HIPPO in our network, but we have some question about ethic submission. You know, in some countries, when you have to submit a protocol to ethic review, you have to pay for that. I want to know if DSU have something like compensation or a method to afford a financial support for that.
Okay, thank you for your question. We currently do not have this project funded, which means we do not have funds to cover those expenses. We are looking to have fund to the projects, especially because we will probably need it to cover the expenses of the publications to being open access, and we are working on it. But at the moment, we do not have money to fund that. Ryan?
Hello. So I have two questions. The first one is from who we should get this approval for the study?
So the approval works different from different countries. So can I ask you what country are you based on? I'm sorry.
I am from Algeria.
Algeria, okay. So on this case, I think you probably need to check if this can be registered at a local level. Do you know if there is any ethics commission in your hospital?
Actually, I think that we do not have those.
Okay, and do you think you have any ethics commission in terms of the national level, like a board regulating the studies?
Probably not.
Then let me, Maria, let me ask if it's possible to use ethical clearance from Ghana. because Ghana and Liberia, I think we do a lot of health programs, and even the government system is together. So what I'm suggesting, maybe you may try to use the clearance from Ghana. What do you think?
But Ryan is from Algeria.
From Algeria, I was thinking it's from Liberia. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
No, no worries.
But what about, Maria, what about if it's, we get some approval from Birmingham, and that those who do not have such an organization can also use the same international approval to do the study? Because this is a simple study, it's a cohort study. Most of the times it's just like what did I call it? Audit.
Exactly.
So most audits, you do not need ethical clearance. But in a situation where they are pressed, then they can try and use one of the international clearance to see whether it will go. But most audit reports don't need approval.
Exactly.
But
so,
we in Ghana need approval because of the massive, how we want to do it nationwide. That is why we were asked to, because we want to do it nationwide, that is why we were asked to get some approval.
Yeah, so Ryan, maybe I can get back to you on this question. I will discuss it further about what would be the best country for you to use the approval from. And I'll get back to you as soon as possible, if that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
Thank you
hello,
so much.
Maria.
Hello.
Soji Ademowa from Nigeria speaking, please.
Yeah.
Right. So just to comment on the issue, I think in some of our earlier cohort studies like Global Surge 1 and 2, we allowed people to write the director of the hospital if there is no ethical committee, right, to inform the director of the hospital about it and get approval from such persons. And that allowed some private hospitals who do not have ethical clearance to be able to participate. So this is another option we can explore while exploring what Stephen had suggested. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that definitely might be a good, very, very helpful and very good suggestion too. Ryan, I'll discuss this further anyway, and I'll get back to you. But I think that both options suggested by Professor Stephen and Professor Soji are very helpful, probably. What was the second question?
So the second question was, is the local lead included in the mini group? So should we include his information in that?
If you want to collect data, you can, and you can register yourself again as a collaborator, but you don't need to collect data because you already have the hospital lead role and already have like other tasks to do, like all this setting up the study and then checking if everything is going smoothly and if the data collection is going well and it's going like appropriate to the study protocol and all of that. So if you wish, you can definitely be a data collector, but if you think that that would be a lot of burden on you, you can be a hospital lead only, no problem.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bassam?
Yeah, I was just about to ask the second question that my colleague ran. Yeah, you got it already.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
Elizabeth?
Yes, I have one more question. Maria, this time it's different. The data collection period we can choose by ourselves this time. It's not like that you randomize us to a certain collection period. Is that right?
Exactly. Okay. Each hospital choose whichever period works better
Okay.
for you. No problem.
So in case I try to get the approval handed in now, everything in January, I'm not so sure if I receive it by January. So collection starts in January. If we can't get it before, I mean, Is it a problem if we use another period then?
No.
Okay.
If you expect to have the approval in January and you can only have the approval ready for the second period, let's say, there's no problem.
Okay, great. So it's better for us just use February anyway in case we don't get it. So
exactly.
Okay, great.
Exactly.
Thanks.
No worries. Dr. Lawani?
Thank you. According to what Ademuyiwa said a few minutes ago, I would like also to say that for Global Search 1 and Global Search 2, we allowed participants to use approval from the head of Department of Surgery in order to run the study like OD practice.
Okay.
Practice OD. So I think that we should explore that possibility too. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's very helpful too. Thank you. Dr. Bisher?
Yes, hi Maria. One more question. At our hospital is it's in the private sector. So most of the patients are under certain doctors. When I tried to apply at the local IRB team, they asked if we should mention each patient and his surgeon. Is that the case for the protocol, or is it an essential part in the process or not? Or we just mention it under the hospital name?
Yeah, so we are not collecting any identifiable data. So in terms of patient data, we are collecting like general demographic things like age, sex, weight, age, and all these measures. And in terms of the surgeon who performs the operation, we are also not collecting the name or anything like that. We will only collect if it's a consultant or a junior doctor, or if it's a non-doctor performing the surgery, in case that is in place, and what is the experience of the person doing the operation. But we are not collecting any data in terms of name of surgeon or name of patient. We will not collect anything of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bassam?
Yeah, I'm sorry for Billy. I wanted to ask something about the being considered as an audit in our CV. So in order for that to happen, we need to get like a written consent from the audit department in our hospital.
So when it's the majority of the points for data collection, we expect to extract them directly from the clinical notes. So we wouldn't need to ask anything directly to patients. But if your hospital has an audit, but you can ask questions to patients and they ask for a consent form, you can find the consent form in our webpage in case that's useful. But we designed the data collection as not needed to ask the patient any questions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mohanad?
Hello, Dr. Maria. Is there any difference between local lead and data collector in authorship, or all will be just a collaborator?
We will recognize the local leads as local leads and the data collectors as collaborators, because actually the roles are a bit different in terms of the responsibility and the involvement and commitment to the study. So yeah, in the authorship, we usually separate those two groups.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So if there aren't any further questions, here is the email where you can send any questions if you remember anything that it was not addressed in this meeting. I hope this was helpful. It was definitely helpful for us to have your feedback and to know which steps are being more difficult, because especially for people who are joining for the first time, I recognize that the process can be quite time consuming and can be quite complex. So thank you very much for everyone for your time. I hope this was helpful. Oh, sorry, we have one more question, Mackie?
Yeah, this meeting is recorded, right, Maria?
Yes.
And will be sent to us?
Exactly. We will share the
Okay.
recording of the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We will end the meeting now, if that's okay, if no questions.
Thank you.
For us. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Maria.
Bye.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.